Hello everyone, today I am finally vlogging something again. It's been so hard to find things to vlog with such little happening in the world right now. But today I'm going to be vlogging for you all Deipnon. This has been highly requested, and I was going to film a Deipnon vlog last Dark Moon last month, but unfortunately Hecate said no. She didn't want to be filmed last month, so I respected that and I did Deipnon without filming it, informing her that I was hoping to film this month, but also, you know, it was still her decision, because ultimately if she says no, then there's not really anything I can do. But luckily this month she said yes, I can film me performing Deipnon with her, but there are some rules and guidelines that she's given me to protect her and I's relationship, and the sacredness of it. So I'm going to be vlogging this Deipnon, and if I'm going to be leaving anything out, I'm going to let you guys know. And if I do leave anything out, it's simply because Hecate told me to. But I'm really excited to bring you guys along with me to perform this Deipnon. Deipnon is something that has a very special place in my heart. It's one of the first magical ceremonies that I really performed. I started doing Deipnon, oh man, how long has it been? I think actually like 3 years ago is the first time I did Deipnon, and I've been doing it ever since, either at my altar or doing what I'm going to do today, going to a three-way crossroads and performing Deipnon there. So Deipnon has a special place in my heart because it's one of the first ceremonies I ever performed with any deity ever. So still to this day, I love performing it, I love doing it, and I love the impact it has on my relationship with Hecate. You know, with some deities, it can be a lot of work to connect with them, or it can be unclear how to connect with them, and you have to find your own way. But with Hecate, there's this beautiful ceremony that you can perform every single month to reiterate your connection with her, and I think that's really beautiful and really lovely. So talking to you guys about my ritual preparation right now, the sun will be going down in about 45 minutes, so this is typically when Deipnon is being performed, when the sun is going down. So I'm preparing for the ritual. The location I'm going to is just about like 3-5 minutes from my house. I do have to drive, but it's a 3-5 minute drive, so it's not a big deal. And then I walk on a trail for about 3 more minutes, and then I'm at the three-way crossroads that I perform Deipnon at. And the offerings I'm going to be giving Hecate for this Deipnon are, first I'm grinding up some eggshells. I use this to outline the food to kind of create a sacred circle. Acts as kind of a plate without having to put a plate on the earth. The eggshells outline the offering. So I'm grinding up these eggshells. These are happy eggs from a happy farm, a sustainable resource. I'm bringing my rain and moon water to cleanse the spot on the earth that I'm going to be placing the offering. I'll be bringing my mirror book and a pen just in case there are any little things I need to jot down. I'm going to be bringing a little cluster of feathers that I don't need. I've mentioned in previous videos that one of the ways that my guides communicate with me is with feathers. So I have a lot of feathers, and inevitably some of the feathers I just can't keep, or they're damaged in some way, so I return them to the earth, or one of my cats destroyed them, and so I return them to the earth because they're no longer useful or usually intact. So I'll return those feathers to the earth. So I've got a little cluster of feathers that for miscellaneous reasons are of no use to me, so I will return them where they came from. And that will be part of my offering also. And then I'm also going to be giving some snake skin. My sister has a pet snake. He is a ball python. His name is Sibelius. And he always has these beautiful sheds, one big long piece of his skin. And because Hecate is so strongly connected to snakes, I'll be bringing a piece of that snake skin as offering also. And then lastly, I will be giving a clump of sweepings from my home. This is partially because Hecate is strongly related to dogs, and because I live with a dog, a lot of the sweepings end up being dog hair. So I will give her that. Also, it's kind of symbolic for the way Hecate is a guardian of the crossroads and how she can move through darkness into light and back to darkness. So I'll give her the sweepings of my home that I do not need for her to consume and create into something new. So those are all the offerings I'm bringing. I'm going to be getting all my stuff packed up and leaving shortly. And I'm going to be wearing this necklace that I actually just recently got. It was one of a kind from Frey Hermetics Supplies. It's one of my favorite witchy, pagan, metaphysical shops. They have supplies, they have rarer things like this where they only had one in stock, and I saw it on Instagram and I snatched it up immediately. But this is a Hekate key. Keys very much so correspond to Hecate, as she is a guardian of the crossroads. And this key, as you can see, has the symbol of Hecate on it, and I will be wearing that for ritual. I was very excited to receive it because it came just in time for Deipnon. I will be wearing my cloak once I get to the crossroads to walk there and to walk back. Let's just have a reality moment real quick. Okay? All my non-cis white men, you'll relate. I arrived at the trail to walk to the crossroads, and there was a man being creepy at the entrance to the trail, and I am a lone woman at dusk about to walk into the wilderness. No ma'am, I'm not letting a lone man watch me walk into the wilderness by myself. So I got back in my car while he proceeded to watch me get back in my car and then walk up to my car and stare at me for a couple more minutes before he finally walked off. And now I'm watching him leave, and I will not get out of the car until I can no longer see him. So, that's just the reality of what's occurring right now. Just interrupting your regularly scheduled beautiful ritual ceremony to bring you some sad, sad reality of what it's like to be anyone other than a cis white man. He's almost gone. Okay, let's walk. So I'm walking. And I'll show you the view, but it's so amazing. And it's one of those evenings where I'm glad I have my cloak because it is chilly. It is windy and the clouds are a little bit stormy. Looks like it might possibly rain. It did sprinkle a little bit for a minute, but it stopped. And usually, and I did a little of this and I'll do more when I'm done talking to you guys, but usually while I walk for Deipnon, I play music. And, or I sing, or I hum, or I chant. I do some kind of, I set the tone with music and with song. But I feel like a lot of the time, and then the videos I've seen of other people's ceremony, even not just Deipnon, just ceremony in general, I feel like people have a lot of focus on ritual song, ritual music, ritual traditional songs for ceremony, which is, of course, great. Music that's intended for ritual is, of course, useful for ritual. But something that people don't often talk about or acknowledge is modern music. But I like to use, and when I say modern music, I don't just mean music that's being released now. I mean all music throughout time, not just ceremonial or ritual music. I personally really like to use more modern music when I do spells, when I do rituals, as offering to deities. I think that there's a lot of power in all kinds of music, not just music that's written for deities or for sacred energy. So I think that's an important thing to discuss that people often overlook is you don't have to play ritual music. You don't have to sing ritual music. You can sing normal music. You can sing whatever music you feel called to sing. You can sing what you like. I know that when I work with Hekate, my experience of her is pretty modern. She, of course, loves ritual music and chants written for her, but in my experience, she also really loves modern music. I love to play music for Hekate that is all about releasing and letting go. Music that is about crossroads, about choices, about paths. And there are so many songs that fall in that kind of genre. So, like on the ride over here, I was playing Keep Me Hanging On. So, I encourage you to, use music as a tool. It doesn't have to be, ritual, ceremonial chants or music. It can be fun. And that's not saying that ritual music isn't fun. Of course it can be. But you can use any genre of music to honor deity. And they're not going to be offended. They're going to love it, actually. So I have reached where I put the offering for Deipnon. I'll show you the three-way crossroads in a second, but I usually spend a few minutes or however long just in the space calling on Hekate and just being present and listening to the earth and to the breeze, to the birds if there are any, and just receiving whatever comes. And sometimes animals show up. Seen coyotes a couple times when I did this, so not sure if we're going to see anyone today, but I'm going to spend a couple of minutes doing that now before I lay the offering out. This is the three-way crossroads. So we've got this path going up, this path going this way, which is more back to the normal hiking trail, and then this path, which is where I came from, that's more on the side of the mountain. And this is the amazing view we're working with here. Back this way. And typically what I do at this crossroads to make it more private and more isolated for Hekate and her spirits to come pick up the offering, and for me to lay it out, honestly, I climb this little hill right here and I put the offering at the top of the hill. Because it's kind of in the center of this three-way crossroads and it's more private, like I said. So I'm gonna climb this little hill and I'll be back. I'm sitting at the top of the hill now. I climbed it and now I'm sitting where I'll place the offering. Just waiting for the sun to set a little bit more before I do. I'm going to start Deipnon soon. I'm going to lay out the offering. I'll call in Hekate, and then I'll lay out the offering, and then I will invite Hekate and her spirits to come take the offering, and then I will leave with a swiftness. And one of the conditions for Hekate was that I don't talk once I start to lay the offering, so I will be So I'm explaining to you guys now what I'm going to be doing, because I won't be able to talk once I start calling on Hekate and laying the offering. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I do call on my deities in my mind. I don't typically out loud call on beings. That's just my personal preference. Many people, most people, in fact, at least to my knowledge, they call on deities out loud verbally. I personally just feel a much stronger connection to deity when I say it in my mind versus when I say it out loud. I'm very clairaudient, so my connection to spirit is very strongly in that sense of hearing, that psychic sense of hearing. So my beings and I, my deities and I, my spirit guides and I, we bond through that quiet communication. So when I'm calling on Hekate, I won't be saying anything out loud. When I invite her to take the meal, I won't be saying anything out loud. And when I thank her for taking it and leave, I won't be saying anything out loud. I'll be saying it all in here. So, and I'm also not going to be sharing what I say. That was another one of her conditions, that she didn't want me to share how I call on her or how I invite her to eat. It's personal between the two of us, and it's something that I've written personally for her with directions from her. But there are invocations for Hekate in books, but also I really do encourage you to work on writing your own invocations, writing your own prayers, writing your own chants, writing your own everything. Of course not at first, especially if that feels overwhelming, but if you can, especially if you have a special relationship with a deity, it's so much more heartfelt and loving and impactful if it comes directly from you and if you wrote it and it came from your heart. So, and you can always ask the deity to tell you, how should I write this? What should it start with? How should it end? What do you want me to say? And they can help you with that. So it's not a necessary thing, but mine are all personal, written by me. So I won't be sharing them. Hekate doesn't want me to share them, and honestly, I don't want to share them. But so that's how my ritual will go. And I'll be filming it again, not talking until after. I'll be able to talk to you guys again once I start walking away. Hail Hecate. So I've just finished and I'm leaving. And I talked about this in my video about Hekate. Definitely watch that one if you haven't watched it yet. This video will make a lot more sense if you watch my first Hekate video or if you know a bit about Hekate. But as I said in my first video about Hekate, when you do Deipnon, you have to put the offering down and leave immediately. And you're not trying to, you're not like running away. You're not leaving in fear. But it's important with Deipnon that you leave and you don't look back. That's the important part, the not looking back. And if you're like me and you have OCD and anxiety, it can be really hard to leave a place and not look back 50 times just to make sure you didn't leave anything. So not looking back can be really hard. Also, I've just found that with Deipnon and other people who do Deipnon in physical places, not necessarily at their altar, I've heard the same thing from them. They always say that when they finish Deipnon and they lay the offering and they call on Hecate and they invite her, there's this feeling that sweeps over you. And it's hard to describe unless you just perform Deipnon yourself and experience it. But there's this feeling of, I gotta go. And there's this feeling of, and I'm even feeling it now, there's almost even this feeling of someone's behind me. And again, not in a menacing way, just in a presence kind of way. You can just feel the presence of Hecate and her spirits. You can feel that you've called on them and they are arriving. And they know that offering is for them. And they're excited to take it because they're hungry. So I hope that this Deipnon video was helpful. I'm almost done with my walk. And it is chilly. Oh, we're seeing animals. I'll show you guys. I'm trying not to spook them when we walk by. Oh, they're so beautiful. I told you we tend to see animals when we perform ritual outside. Good night, guys. Stay safe. They got a baby with them. But I hope this video was helpful in understanding how Deipnon is performed. I think maybe in the future I'll do another Deipnon vlog where I do it at my altar just to show you guys the difference. I have arrived at my vehicle. And now is when I can finally check that I took everything because I couldn't look back. If you guys enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll be uploading more consistently and I would love if you guys would tell me what you guys most want to see. Leave requests down in the comments and I will see you soon. Happy dark moon and blessed be.